Unaccompanied children who arrive at San Diego's border with Mexico could soon be housed at San Diego's Convention Center. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee, in for Barbara Lee Edwards. City and county leaders say that is where the children will live until they can find relatives or other groups to care for them. News 8's Brandon Lewis explains why the federal government asked for help.
Now, Carlo and Marcella, we could start seeing children arrive as early as this weekend. Of course, the convention center has played a key role during the pandemic in helping people who are experiencing homelessness help get off the street and find help. Now the convention center is going to help in a new way. The number of unaccompanied children arriving at San Diego's border is up more than 60% over last year. Many are fleeing Guatemala and want to request asylum in the United States. President Joe Biden committed to allowing them to remain in the U.S. until their case is heard, but then came the problem of finding somewhere to put them, so the federal government asked the city and county for help.
We are going to do that because it's the right thing to do. These are children. Some of them are very young, they're very vulnerable, and they need our help.
San Diego's convention center housed thousands of people experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. Many are now set up with permanent housing through Operation Shelter to Home. Others are moving into formal shelters. The program was due to end next week, but they'll instead shift to helping children with some modifications like adding education and recreation space.
I think that this is our obligation as a part of a humanitarian approach to ensure that we give these children an opportunity to see the best of America.
The average child will stay here for about a month until they're connected with family already in the U.S. or their case is heard. The county and city didn't hold back in saying they want it to be starkly different to images of detention centers currently in use elsewhere along the border.
But at the end of the day, what we have are young people who are in unacceptable conditions, and this condition can be better for them. And it's important that we don't end up with children who are unconnected to their families, who we can't account for, the hundreds of unaccounted for by the previous administration. We don't want that to happen.
The federal government will pick up the tab of running the convention center as a shelter. This also means the county's plans to turn this into a vaccine site won't happen. Instead, the county says they will look to increase capacity at other sites once vaccine supply improves. Carlo and Marcella.
A not guilty plea today from the driver accused of being under the influence when he slammed into several people at a homeless encampment downtown, killing 3. News 8's Steve Price has details from today's arraignment and reaction from a victim's family member.
Prosecutors say 71-year-old Craig Voss was impaired when he drove up onto a sidewalk in downtown last week, hitting 9 people. 3 of them died. Today, Voss faced a judge for the first time since that horrific accident.
Mr. Voss, can you see me waving to you on your screen? And obviously you can hear me, am I correct? Can you see the attorneys as well?
Yes, I can. It happened March 15th on B Street near City College. Several homeless people had gathered under the bridge there to avoid the rain. Witnesses say Voss drove up onto the sidewalk and slammed into several of them, killing 61-year-old Walter Jones, along with 65-year-old Vietnam veteran Randy Ferris and 40-year-old Rodney Diffendahl.
He would give anybody anything. He really would.
Lacey Diffendahl says she last spoke to her cousin in December and can't believe he's gone.
Last time I talked to him, he was doing great, and that's why I'm just so shocked. I'm so shocked that he was even homeless.
Lacey says his family definitely would have brought him home to Michigan if they knew that he was homeless. Rodney came to San Diego looking for a fresh start.
He just wanted to be a productive member of society. That's all. He just wanted to have a place in this world. That's all I wanted.
He enters a not guilty plea, denies any and all allegations.
Voss has been charged with 3 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter, 5 counts of causing great bodily injury, and 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. He's currently being held in the downtown jail.
Bail will remain at $1 million.
Sources tell News 8 that Voss had a stroke last year that affected him both physically and verbally. They wonder if his slurred speech played a factor in his DUI charge. Police say he was taken into custody after a field sobriety test. Voss will be back in court next week for a bail review hearing, and we should learn more details then surrounding his alleged impairment. Steve Price, News 8.
2 people have been arrested in connection to the murder of a Chula Vista teenager. We're told one of the suspects is 18, the other is 16. They were arrested yesterday in Spring Valley. A 3rd suspect is still on the loose. The shooting happened back on March 11th at Sunset View Park in Chula Vista. Police say a fight broke out at the park and a 17-year-old was shot and later died at the hospital. Also tonight, a 30-year-old man is behind bars accused of shooting and killing a teenage boy in Barrio Logan last fall. Police say 30-year-old Bryant Ruiz was arrested yesterday in connection with the death of Brian Romo. On October 23rd, the 15-year-old was found shot and wounded at Chicano Park. He was taken to a hospital where he died. Police have not released a motive or any details about what led them to arrest Ruiz. He is being held without bail and is due in court next week. 10 people, including a Boulder police officer, died during yesterday's shooting inside of a King Soopers grocery store in Boulder.
Today, investigators charged the 21-year-old gunman with 10 counts of first-degree murder. News 8's Shannon Handy has been monitoring the latest developments on the case. She has more on who the victims are and what the gunman's family is saying tonight.
Carlo and Marcel, it's been heartbreaking as we uncover more information about these victims. Here are 8 of them. There are 10 in total. They range from 20 to 65. Meanwhile, investigators are trying to figure out why this shooting happened in the first place.
For the second time in less than a week, the American flag on top of the White House was lowered to half-staff Tuesday as the country mourns yet another mass shooting.
He went in the store. Right down there. Oh, my God. Guys, we got people down inside King Soopers. Look, there's...
A live stream video of Monday's incident captured the terrifying moments from inside a Boulder, Colorado grocery store where police say this man, 21-year-old Ahmad El-Aliwi Alyssa, opened fire, killing 10 people. Alyssa, who suffered a gunshot wound to the leg during an exchange with police, was seen being taken away in handcuffs. He's been charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder. The victims' names listed here. Pictures gathered so far give us a small glimpse of who they were. On Twitter, Erica Mahoney posted this photo calling her father, Kevin Mahoney, her hero. Another victim was Boulder police officer Eric Talley, a father of 7. He joined the force in 2010 and was one of the first officers to respond.
I feel numb, and it's heartbreaking.
While a motive is still unclear, the gunman's family reportedly told investigators he suffered from a mental illness and often had delusions. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, Alyssa bought an assault rifle less than a week ago. Witnesses reported seeing him shooting an elderly man in the parking lot before entering the store.
Heard, one loud bang. Thought somebody just dropped something, an employee or something, and then another. And then by the third one, everybody was running.
Earlier today, President Biden offered his condolences and called on Congress to ban assault weapons.
It should not be a partisan issue. This is an American issue. It will save lives.
This as a Senate Judiciary Committee discussed the shooting during a previously scheduled hearing on gun violence.
Inaction has made this horror completely predictable.
Every time there's a shooting, we play this ridiculous theater where this committee gets together and proposes a bunch of laws that would do nothing to stop these murders.
No new bills have been introduced, so Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he intends to bring legislation to the Senate floor.
The Mexican consulate in Little Italy will begin offering COVID vaccines tomorrow. This location will operate from 9:30 to 3:30 Tuesdays through Thursdays. The walk-in clinic will be able to give up to 100 doses a day pending supply. Community outreach workers will be booking appointments for those in underserved communities. The county's newest vaccination site opened today at San Diego State's Viejas Arena. The site will be open through Saturday and will provide up to 700 doses a day if there's enough vaccine supply. Eventually, they hope to expand to 1,500 doses a day. County leaders hope the site's location near public transportation will help to reach San Diegans who live in the hardest hit communities. Appointments are required.
Saquon is taking steps to protect its team members against COVID-19. Today it announced it is offering Pfizer vaccines to those who work in the casino, tribal departments, and at Singing Hills Golf Resort. More than 500 team members got their first shot over the weekend. It's all part of an effort to help ensure their employees feel safe coming to work. Tonight, county health officials are reporting 243 new coronavirus cases, and that represents about 2% positive out of more than 11,000 tests. Total COVID-related hospitalizations increased by 7 to 233, while the ICU count dropped by 3 to 81. 4 additional deaths were being reported today, and that total is now just under 3,500. Also today, San Diego County's adjusted case rate fell from 6.8% per 100,000 people to 5.5 cases per 100,000 residents. That keeps us in the red tier. That number needs to get below 4 before moving to the less restrictive orange tier.